I know one of the sort of hot topics that a lot of times comes up when working with people is social media, right? Like we know the statistics globally, 77% of people are using it. And the average is over 2 hours a day on social media.
Yeah.
That actually probably seems a little low because ages 16 to 24, an average of 3 hours and 38 minutes a day.
This is surprising to you?
Okay. No, it does not surprise me. And yet I also hear, like, especially from, like, this was big when I was teaching, the 18 to 22-year-olds, that they just didn't have time to do anything. And yet some of them, we did this one time in one of our intro to psychology classes where I had they're like, well, we can find out there's an average on our phone. And so they were looking and we were discussing how much time they were spending on their phone and social media platforms. And, when you're looking at 4 to 8 hours a day, some of them were doing, and then they were talking about not having time to do these other things.
Yeah, I don't think that's an accurate representation though, because sometimes I will be working on my laptop and then all of a sudden I'm just like scrolling on the side, like just listening to it play through my earbuds while I'm working. Like I'm doing other things. I'm being productive.
You're being productive while doing this. Like, explain that to me. Like, how is that productive while you're scrolling?
Because it's like background noise.
Okay.
Like if I have TikToks going on the side and I'm writing a paper.
How can you focus on your paper that you need to write for an assignment?
Because I'm not focusing on the TikTok.
But it's just
background
scroll?
No.
You have to physically scroll?
Well, sometimes I just realize I've been listening to it 3 times in a row and then I'm like, scroll.
Scroll.
Yeah.
Is that sort of along the same lines as listening to music in the background?
Mm-hmm. I would say so. I can't focus with music in the background, but I can focus with TikToks in the background.
Really?
Yeah.
Something doesn't come across as interesting and you need to pause?
No, not usually.
Not usually.
That's not my TikTok feed.
That's not your TikTok feed?
No.
All right, wait. Our podcast is on TikTok, right?
Yes, it is. You guys should go follow.
Yeah.
You should also go follow me. I do Get Ready With Me's and I post our fit checks.
Wait, you're doing that on TikTok?
Yes.
You're on the Dr. Therapy Mom account?
No, on my personal account.
On your personal account? So you just want people to follow you on your personal account too?
Well, if they want the behind the scenes.
Okay.
You don't get behind the scenes on the Dr. Therapy Mom.
And so you're suggesting like other people, like they could just like be listening to us in the background. We're like background noise to people.
We can be. We're a podcast. You don't have to look at us.
So you're saying that the amount of time that people are doing, it's not like that's all they're doing. They can be doing this while they're doing other things, such as homework.
Yes.
Such as what else?
I do it while I'm renovating.
Okay.
While I'm working.
Like sometimes. Renovating houses.
Yes. What else would I be renovating?
Well, not everybody knows what that means. So you renovate.
I tear down walls and I put them back up.
You're installing cabinets right now.
Yeah. Anyways.
Painting, things like that. Okay. And then you said you also just, while you're working, wait a minute, tell me more about this.
Well, like when I'm answering emails, which I need to do anyways, or I'm like editing a video, I got stuff playing in the background.
Okay.
The other day, maybe I should admit this. I was watching Criminal Minds on TV. I had music playing through my earbuds and I had my headphones on editing.
Okay, so you're watching Criminal Minds.
Uh-huh.
And then you had what in the background?
I had, Criminal Minds playing off the TV.
Okay.
One earbud in, listening to music. And then my headphones on over that, editing the video.
And this helped you how?
I don't know.
You don't know, but it did.
I don't know, but it did.
Are you sure you were being as productive? Because there are studies now that, I think there for a while, multitasking was sort of seen
I
as
don't
praise.
do well with silence. It makes me uncomfy.
You don't do well with silence.
For the most part. Like, when I'm trying to work, I don't. Because then, like, every little thing annoys me. Like, if I hear something drop in the other room. Or if the AC kicks on. I'm automatically like, alerted to that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is just me admitting that I have ADHD.
I don't know how you got that.
Anyway.
People can have symptoms, and we have symptoms of things, but that doesn't mean we have a diagnosis that requires treatment sometimes.
We didn't need to go there.
I think people need to understand that. Because I think everybody's
videos about.
Okay, so we need to add another topic for the future.
Self-diagnosing.
Yes, let's add that.
All
right. So social media, and I think that sometimes some of the question becomes, one, how much we're using it. But then I think a big dilemma is, at what age should people be allowed to start using it?
The first social media I got was like Musically, I think. And I was like 14. And it was because one of my friends was moving away. And it was a way to stay connected. Yes. And I had to beg for it.
Yes.
So, R.I.P. Musically. It's now TikTok.
They actually changed? It's the same platform?
It's the same. It's like the same app, but they transferred ownership or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. So you had the whole mean mom that wouldn't allow you.
To be fair, you weren't using social media.
That's true.
She doesn't like social media.
Actually, I do like it now. However, I don't know if it's by nature of the job I've had or the things that I've seen, that I was very protective of what I used, where I shared pictures of my children. Like, I didn't share those. And so I didn't have social media. Actually, one of my really good friends from college, she wanted me on social media and I was refusing. So she actually connected with somebody that worked with me on my team. Oopsies. Apparently I need some therapy time here. So she connected with someone and wanted her to set up an account for me so that I would be on social media. And I was like, no, I just really wanted to make certain that I shared it with close family. And those are people I can give pictures to, or I can just text. I didn't need to share them on social media. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff out there.
There is.
And that was that. I think that being a mom and trying to decide what was right for you, and then also what I needed to do for you all. For me, it was, I didn't want to share anything until I knew that all three of you were physically and cognitively able to handle whatever might happen if somebody approached you or said or did anything.
She's acting like she's famous over here.
No, I'm not. It's not that, but I've worked in the field for a lot of time. Okay, and here's the other thing. Because I would work with, I worked with a lot of college students in a variety of different roles since you all were young. And they were always like, but my Facebook is private, or my this or that is private. And I'm like, okay, yes, it is. And yet me, right, who does not have social media, somehow I was sent information about you. And the same thing with some of the different people on my team, my clinical teams. I would get like, hey, did you see what so-and-so posted? And people take screenshots or pictures of another picture and send it. And it's like, so just because you think only these people are seeing it doesn't mean that those are the only people who are seeing it.
She sounds like a broken record to me because I've heard this like 100 million times. And I feel like a lot of people have.
Right. And that does not mean that I think social media is bad. I think it is amazing. There's a lot of great things that are happening with it. It's, and then once you got older, that I do like sharing information on it. I like using it. I do have to be very careful about the amount of time I spend on it because I can scroll mindlessly, and that's not how I want to use my time.
Part of me wonders if the statistics are skewed in a way because so many people's jobs is social media.
It could be if that is their job and they're on it a great deal. I think so. I also wonder, like, sometimes I see it, I'm like, when I look at how much time, when I get my weekly updates, how much time I've spent on my phone, and I'm like, wait, no, I did not. And sometimes I wonder how much are maybe apps running in the background that might skew some of that. If my app is open while I'm in doing emails or some things with my calendar, more work related things, is that counting as some of the time? So I think any study you have to understand, like, how are they doing that? But let's be real. When I said on average 2 hours, I think it's 2 hours and 8 minutes, or for your age group, 3 hours and 38 minutes, you sort of thought that was lower than maybe what we expected.
No, I think that was very average.
So it doesn't surprise you?
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
And so let's maybe break this down a little bit. Let's talk about maybe how social media is used, and then talk about at what age and what are some of the things that we need to consider when people start using social media. So what are the ways that people use social media? You've mentioned connecting with friends, and that's when one of your friends was moving. And so staying connected is a great thing that social media allows us to do.
I don't know, entertain.
Okay, so entertain. Because what do you like watching? And what do you think other people like watching?
I think there's so much out there. I don't know what other people like watching. People are doing like something different.
Right.
I quite frequently get things on my For You page. So I'm like, I'm not about this. Why would someone want to watch this? But people do.
Right. There's something for, and maybe that's it. There's always something for everyone, depending on what they like. And I think that's the algorithms that once they know that you sort of pause or open, then I think they have the algorithms that they send more of those things to your feed.
I think there's something about relating.
Feeling like there's other people like you, similar to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, because belonging is really important. So it's nice to know you're not alone in whatever you're thinking or wanting.
No.
Well, so entertainment, connection, feeling like relating. I think people get their news a lot of times, like what's happening in the world.
Guys, I try to avoid the news at all costs. And then sometimes it pops up on my For You page and I'm just like, absolutely not.
Is that news in general, or is that because do you like following certain celebrities or stars and that news is okay? Or is it just like politics?
It's all of it. I don't want to hear whatever scandal this new celebrity's in. I don't want to hear what's going on in the world. Okay, my world is bad enough. The rest of the world.
Really? Your world is bad enough?
Okay. What I mean by that is that there's enough going on in my world that I got to keep up with. I don't want to know what's going on in the rest of the world.
Because
I know it sucks.
Mm.
And the people who complain about it. Because like I get on to you and Dad about it. It's like, you guys see a little video of the news pull up on your on your page, and you guys make comments about it, and you often have reactions that you're sort of like, ugh, I don't want to see this. What is going on? This is messed up. And I'm just like, what do you expect?
Right. Well, and that brings up another thing, because sometimes I see things and I'm like, this can't be real. And so sometimes I'm like, I feel like if I see something, I have to like do a little bit of research to like, did this really happen? Was this really said or done or what have you? So sometimes those can be a little helpful, little glimpses of knowing something that might be happening, but they can also take us down rabbit holes that we didn't need to go down.
I don't think sometimes you go down a separate rabbit hole than what I was discussing. Your reactions to things that you don't like, you watch the video anyways, knowing that you're not going to like it. And then you have outward reactions. And I'm just like, what did you expect? You knew. Like, this isn't surprising to you. Why? Like, what's the point? What's the point of your reaction? Just scroll.
Just scroll. You want me to have zero reaction as I'm going through social media.
No, but when you're watching the same kind of videos all the time and you're having negative reactions about it, and they're like, when you watch videos about what's going on in the world or what's going on in the country, you have negative reactions to it.
And that's fair. Fortunately, you don't see me do it that often, but you have...
I see your husband do it frequently.
Yes,
he's really bad about it.
We've noticed he scrolls a lot lately. A lot, which that's okay.
So do you. Okay, let's be so honest here. Everyone in this family scrolls a lot, and we get onto him, but
we're all doing
it. I'm gonna put screen time on his Facebook.
Oh, that it monitors how much time?
No, that it locks after a certain amount of time.
Oh, really? Can you do that? Can you do that to mine too? Because I was just about to say,
I'm gonna limit you guys to 1 hour a day.
Oh, I don't even want 1 hour. Nope, I don't even want that.
Okay, well, 1 hour goes by fast.
No, I do not have 1 hour to spend. So
okay.
So we entertainment, getting news. Connectivity. I think another thing that social media is really good about is I think it gives us, yes, we just talked about the politics, but I think it gives us exposure to other culture, creativity, things that, I've discovered some new artists that way, new musicians that I really like to listen to. And I would not have found them had I not been using social media and probably scrolling mindlessly. So sort of switching gears a little bit, what would you say, because we're adults now, and obviously you can have whatever social media you want and use whatever social media. I'm curious what you think children should have access to and at what time. Because I know you always wanted social media. Like that was a big, where we sort of butted heads sometimes as you were growing up. You don't?
No. Because it wasn't that deep. I think when it comes to kids on social media, most apps have an age requirement. An age requirement. Regardless, people don't follow it.
Right.
Like I think TikTok is like 13 or 14, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I think most of them are at least 13.
Yeah.
And when you say people don't follow it, what do you mean by that?
Kids are on it at whatever age they want. And I think sometimes it's that the parents don't know, and other times that the parents allow it.
Okay, so it can be both.
Mm-hmm.
And don't you think almost all of it is through, I think I read 98% of social media use is through a cell phone.
Yeah.
So we're also talking about you typically are using a cell phone to access social media if they are younger.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a whole nother issue about
what age they should get that.
Right.
But also parents are now posting their kids more on social media.
Yes.
They're okay. I've seen on my For You page a couple times this week, this one person who said, so one of the new trends now is that instead of showing your kid on social media, you'll just like block out their face so that they can't be identified.
Okay. So to protect them a little bit.
Yes. someone on social media recently who does share their kids on their page was like, I think it's weird that you block out your kid's face. Either show them or don't show them. Thoughts and opinions, because the internet's divided about this one. Because some people are like, you still get to see their arms, their legs, whatever. You're not protecting them. We still know what the hair color they have. And other people are like, well, showing your kids is wrong. And then other people are like, at least you're protecting them in some way.
My question would be, and I think being in the mental health field, this is what I will always say, it's going to come back to what is the motivation, right? So as a parent, if I'm showing my kid on social media, which we already know my own opinions on that, that I chose not to do that until my kids were old enough physically and the way they could think through a situation. I wanted to make certain that they had the skills needed to navigate anything. So I would wonder what the parent's motivation is in sharing that. So are they sharing things with a close group of family and friends and that's all that they do? Or are they doing this because they're trying to build followings and, because that's where I get concerned.
But sometimes it's not even about building followings. It's about building community. Like,
okay, tell me
like the whole relating thing. Mm-hmm. You post your kids on the internet and you have other moms who are like, oh, it's so nice to see whatever, da da da. And it's about relating, finding people that are going through similar things that,
Yes. And I can see that a lot of times as parents, as moms, I think it's more challenging to find our sense of community that's right there with us. And I think social media makes that a little easier. There's just something about once it's out there, it's always out there. And I would not want, let's just say, a meltdown of one of my kids.
Guys, wait, pause. I watched a TikTok like 2 weeks ago and I was like, what the heck? This mom, her daughter was like 11, 12. Her daughter's room was a mess, which like same. But to get her to clean it, she made fake rat poop, put it all around her daughter's room, all over her stuff, in the corners, in her bed, whatever, and then filmed her daughter like melting down, being like, what is this? Whatever. Posted it on social media, even as her daughter was like screaming at her to stop. And I was just like, why would you post this?
Yeah. See, that's, and again, snippets, and I know we've done another episode on snap judgments. And like I think you pointed out in that episode, like
people were encouraging the mom in the comments. They were like, teach her a lesson.
Okay. Something like that would make me a bit sad for that kid and that mom for a couple of reasons. One, what was going on for the mom that's what she felt she had to resort to, like that she was working with her daughter who was refusing to clean her room, something that's sort of a basic. And we do, as moms, we worry about rodents. And that's one of the biggest things, like safety, right? We don't want pests. There's fire hazards, things like that. So I get where the mom was coming from. I think it takes it to an interesting level. I'm just going to use that word, interesting level, to think of something like, let me make fake rat poop and plant it all over my kid's room. Like, I don't know. To me, I would want some sort of honesty, some discussion with you and so forth. And then the other part, there's two more parts of it. Then there's the filming, the reaction. And I'm a big recorder, we do video intervention therapy is a big thing. And I like to review some different things, especially how could I be different in a situation and show up, whether it's for a client. And I have thought, like, there's times I've wanted to record myself as a mom so I could go back, like, what can I do differently? But that's a little, like, that would feel invasive to you guys if that wasn't something that you guys fully understood. Hey, if I record a situation, it's because I want to look at how I'm showing up as a mom. So I don't do that. And then there's a whole other aspect, which is posting it. And I feel like, okay, as a mom, especially of young men, they don't want me to post things. I think people sometimes forget that I have sons because they just prefer I not to do that. They'll sometimes let me take a picture if I say I'm only going to share, like on Snapchat, I'm only going to share this with Mimi and, Aunt Candace and Nikki. And then they're like, okay, but they don't want me to post things. And I want to respect that. Consent is really important. And so now that video is out there everywhere. And that was one snippet of time of a planted reaction. And so, yeah, that just makes me very sad. And that goes back to what is the motivation to do that? And then, yeah, the comments, like, why are people commenting, reinforcing either way? I mean, if I commented, which I probably wouldn't on a situation, I would just probably be how sad for the mom and the daughter. Was that very too therapist-y?
I don't know. I think I had a lot of the similar thoughts. Like, why would you want that out there for your daughter? It felt very much like a shame tactic.
It definitely is. I mean, whether the mom intended it that way, and that's why I say we always have to look at the motivation. What was the mom's motivation?
I feel like it was views.
And then that gets into something else, which is, right? Maybe if the motivation was to shame, like I've asked you a gazillion times, you're not doing it. I've seen mice in our house and, I might have to, like, even if the thought was, I got to plan a little bit, like I've got to make it so that my kid understands how serious this can be. Even if all of that were part of the motivation, there were so many points. There were so many decision points that were made that when I think about wanting to raise a young person so that they have the skills and the support and the relationships that I would want in a mom-daughter relationship, not that anything is ever perfect. I've certainly made a gazillion mistakes along the way. I just don't know where that fits in. Because, yeah, shaming. And so then you go to, it's about the views.
I mean, you can't ever say for sure if what someone's posting is for the views most times, but it definitely felt like it.
Well, let me ask you this. Would there ever be a time that somebody would record something and intentionally post it, and it's like, no, I didn't think it would get views. Even if it's not, like, maybe something took off and we didn't know it would go viral or what have you. Like, I can get, like, I didn't know it was going to have 1 million views. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But to say that I didn't think it was going to get views.
Well, like, sometimes we post and we're like, we average about 600 to 1,000 views per short.
Right.
Some of them only get 2 views.
Right. And then some,
so maybe
1.5 thousand, like it's hit or miss and we don't understand what gets views and what doesn't. However, we know that every time we post, we are hoping people view it.
This is true. I don't know. I mean, a lot of times people are just posting for their friends.
Okay.
They're not thinking that something's going to go viral.
So then they have it as more of a closed group, or it's open, but they're more just thinking for their friends.
It's open, but usually you're only under the assumption that only your followers are going to see it.
So then let me ask you this, and I can totally see how that can happen. Would this be an individual who consistently posts similar videos or reels?
What do you mean?
So if we went back, if we're using the same example of what you saw, if you went to their, and I don't know if I'm going to use the right lingo, right? Their account, would there be other videos that are somewhat similar?
I have no clue.
Because you didn't.
Because I didn't bother.
Right. So then I think that brings up two different things, right? Like, okay, that was a glimpse, a moment in time that was shared. It is what it is. Which, again, maybe the mom was just needing some affirmation, right? Again, whatever was happening that was posted. And then there is, I think, something that would be completely different, which is you go to the account and you see a lot of similarities. There's lots of videos and what that means. And so for me, as somebody who is a strong advocate for children, especially who's done a lot of work in the field of child trauma and working with adult survivors of childhood experiences, then there is a part of me that wonders, again, every situation is different. So, but I would wonder at the exploitiveness of the children.
Exploiting children. Let's go into that real quick. I used to watch this. Okay, so YouTube, yes?
Yes.
Family vlogging channels. Do you know this?
I don't know this, and I have a feeling there's some things I wish I probably don't know about.
Anyways, people just like vlog their daily lives as a family. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
This was big. This was like all over the news, all over social media. They were called the 8 Passengers. It was 5 kids, the parents, and I actually was watching them a little bit more back in the day. The account's no longer there. Basically, you could tell that there were things going on that were not right at all.
Okay.
Filming her children the first time they shaved their legs.
What?
Yes.
And
they were wearing clothes, but
posting it.
They
Oh, yeah, y'all, there's so many weird. Oh no.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember some of the ones off the top of my head.
See, when you say something like that, my mind automatically goes to individuals who sexualize something. Like, I might look at that and as a mom going, oh, isn't this so cute? Let me record this and post it. But I've got to think of who's viewing it and how they might be seeing my child.
There was, let me give you a few more examples. Her, like, I think she was in kindergarten at the time. She forgot her lunch at home and the mom refused to bring her lunch. So she starved that day.
Okay.
Because it's responsibility and her child was responsible for her own lunch.
Fair.
Kindergarten.
I don't, first of all, she's not going to starve going without one meal. And whether at that age she should, I would wonder what all was going on and how many times she had forgotten it. And sometimes as parents, we have to make a decision like, I can't always drop everything.
Can I finish talking about this? They sent their son away to a wilderness camp where he lived in the wilderness for I think like 3 months. He misses like year of school because of it.
Was it like a
it was high school? It was, you were living
like a treatment center type of thing, or
I think it was like therapeutic. I don't know.
Therapeutic.
But I don't know that it was. We're not. Hold on. I'm getting to the whole therapeutic side. It gets worse.
Oh.
He played a prank on his little brother, and so they took away his bedroom for 3 months, I think. Like, he was sleeping on a beanbag in the living room.
Okay.
the mother was involved with this therapist. I don't even know how to say this. Like, very worship, very religious, very, this is how things need to be. If you're not doing this, then it's wrong. I'm not even saying this
I'm trying
correctly.
to think of the name of this because there was a big case that I was involved
that you were involved with?
No, that I actually used as a case in my, I taught a spirituality and religion and counseling course.
This was like Ruby Frankie and Jody
Yes.
Hildebrand. Yes.
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 Oh, there's so many things. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Well, I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay. Yeah. There's all sorts of.
And so, like, making the kids stand out on hot concrete in 105-degree weather, holding cinder blocks as punishment for the entire day. Like,
yes. So we can, I mean, this particular case has so many aspects to it, right? Which is, child abuse. It includes religion and the use of religion in child rearing practices. So let's focus just on the social media aspect. And so, again, and I think they had a podcast or some, and I'm always going to go back. As a therapist, I'm always looking at what is the motivation? What is it? Why are they doing what they're doing? Because that is really going to be at the root of a lot of, how I can help somebody, right? Because if I understand their whys, then, so I would wonder, and it just sounds like there was so much going on. I mean, that would take anyone a lot of time in those poor kids. And so that's the type of work that I tend to do, and helping them, especially throughout the journey. But looking at social media specifically, I think parents should be protective of what they put out there. And blurring faces can be one way of helping that. But again, I would say as parents, why are you posting what you're posting? What are you getting out of it? And also what I think as a parent, and this can be hard, right? Because as a parent, I may have individual needs and wants, and I have to always be thinking, what does my child need? What do they need now? And what will they need in the future? And there's not a lot of instances where I can say, in the future, they're going to really need this tantrum or this moment of time that's out there forever on, in the world. And then I think that then leads to other issues with social media, right? Which is, and I would say I'm guilty of this, that I tend to only post the nice things that people can see, right? The vacation or these happy moments. I'm not posting the moments that, me or my family's not at, it's not an enjoyable moment. Those to me are more private. If my world is falling apart, right? If my world's falling apart, most people are not going to know.
And they shouldn't.
Well, but that's
what does that do?
Yeah. Well, but then the other part of that with social media then is, other people view that and say, oh, you have such a perfect life. And it's like, well,
it's called controlling what's out there.
Yeah. And so people have different views and beliefs about what should be put out into the world. Some people are like, no, keep it real because, like maybe people look at us and are like, but you're not putting the times you're falling apart or things aren't going well. I think I can reflect on that and I'll share some of my own experiences. And I'm trying to do that a little bit more even with this podcast, which is really vulnerable. But I always have to think about what would my kids or my family, when I'm sharing these things, what are they okay with me sharing? Because it's not just my story. And I think that that's an important part, is whose story is it to share? And sometimes it's not just one individual's.
Mm-hmm.
So you agree with that, or?
I just, there's a lot of great things to put out on social media. And I don't think necessarily posting your kid is bad.
No, I don't either. Okay,
and I think there's sometimes I'll see like a cute little moment of someone like posting their kid. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And then all the comments are like, you should really take this down because there are creeps out there and da da da. It's like, yes, there is. They're gonna get this no matter what.
And I do agree with that to a certain extent. Like, can I just say, I love, when school starts and it's like the first day of school. I love I've got one colleague, and she lives in Colorado, and she, when her boys do a fundraiser, they'll do a video where they're like, and one of them, he's so serious, and he's giving me the information about what it is. And then the younger one, he's such a ham, and he's like, doing these. I'm like, take my money, I'm donating, because that is a good way, versus if she had just said like, hey, my kids are doing this fundraiser, which is fine too. But that's a way, and I'm not around in that area, but I can see this. So yes, I think it's okay to post some things. And I think there's always going to be some people who can distort anything. But I also think there's some things that can be misconstrued even more than others.
Let me tell you, you would be canceled if nowadays, okay, thinking back to some photos we have, the photos that you took on the lifeguard stand at the landing where I'm wearing a lime green bikini, you'd be canceled. Do not put your kid in a bikini.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's not appropriate. They're a child. They should be fully covered. You'd be canceled. As I love my bikini.
Okay, and
I look back and I'm like, that's adorable.
And I do have those. And I would say that I tend to be extremely conscientious, but I also knew where we were going, what we were doing. I mean, this was a place we went to frequently. Does that mean that there's maybe some other people who, I don't know. I can't. But I feel like I'm so cautious, but I also didn't post those photos. Now I have posted them as reminders because they're cute.
They are cute. They're adorable. I love that.
Okay. And okay. So I remember one of my little memories from when I was young. I was probably 6 or 8 years old. And we would put on, we had record players, like the real deals. And we would put on concerts for our grandparents and stuff. So my cousin and my sister and I remember because it's a song, Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, and we sang that. So you had a little green and white polka dot bikini, and you were,
I was adorable.
You were adorable. And okay.
But people like now go to stores, and I've seen videos and TikToks of like holding up a one-piece swimsuit for a little kid and being like, this is inappropriate. Why does it look like this? And they're like talking about how maybe the butt isn't as full coverage as they want, even though it's full coverage.
Right.
Or maybe that it has spaghetti straps.
Yeah. Okay. And I feel like as a parent, and I think this has come up before, I was very, I wanted you pretty much covered in your clothes. Like that was that. However, we tend to be water people. You guys were raised on boats. You were raised in the pools, and that's how we spend a lot of our time. So some of the swimwear we chose, there were practical purposes. Like y'all learned not to wear bikinis when you were tubing, and yet when we went to the water park, it was fine, or to the pool, it was fine. And so we dressed for the moments, I guess.
All I'm saying is you would have been canceled.
Okay. I felt like there were a lot of things that I didn't choose and didn't let you wear that was different, but okay. I would have been canceled. Sorry.
I think it's so funny. I don't know.
Well, and I guess, isn't that the whole thing about social media too, is that it is a platform where everybody gets to have an opinion.
I feel like it shouldn't be. Like, who decided that?
Well, I mean, what is it if you can't comment?
Why can't I just watch?
You're just watching it for entertainment, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't even like most of the videos that I like. You know? Like, if I'm like, solid video, I don't even like it.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't give them feedback? Like, hey, keep doing this.
No.
But yet you want people to like yours and our podcast and those reels.
Yeah, I got double standards, okay?
At least you can admit it.
Yeah.
Because you do want feedback.
You do. You know, positive or negative. I don't really care.
So the social media allows people to see, because taking it back, it allows them to see a lot more things, be exposed to some things that they might not have been able to before, which can be positive and negative. Like there's some things that's like, I didn't even know that existed. And it's awesome because I now have another resource or I have more information, which is great. And then there's some things like, I didn't need to know that existed. And sort of thing based on my own sort of thoughts or experiences.
Girl, I don't know. There's stuff out there for everybody.
And so then that goes back, like, who gets to decide that they're canceled?
I don't know. Anyways, I think going back to like kids on social media, there is stuff out there for everybody. But you often see things that you don't need to see or you don't want to see. And so putting like kids using social media, just because there are kid resources on TikTok does not mean that kids should be on TikTok because they're going to see other things. Yeah.
So if I let a young child on TikTok because I thought they were watching these things.
That doesn't mean that's what they're watching.
Oh.
The algorithm is unpredictable. I will quite literally say not interested, and then the next day come back and I still have things like that on there.
And so as parents, you're saying they have to be extra vigilant about what they're doing and what they're watching?
Like people aren't going to watch their kids while they're scrolling through TikTok.
Honestly, I would not. Or you would get it for about 10 minutes.
But then what is that child seeing in that 10 minutes?
Well, I would sit down with you and I would want to pause and talk about each one. Like, what did you like about this one? Or what did you not? What are you...
That's very clinical. I would hate that as a child.
I know, but I think especially initially, I would want to get your thinking. I would want to understand how you are experiencing these short videos, what you're taking away, right? Because me seeing it as an adult, that may not matter, right? Because it's been interesting sometimes, like some of the video games that your brothers have played, right? Like what I'm seeing is one thing, but yet when I sit down and talk to them, what they're taking away or what they're noticing has been very different. And I have to keep that in mind. And so I always want to know what your experience of it is, because that should inform me as a parent. Because if you're looking at, like I might be listening to some of the words more, but you're looking at the visuals or some other things because you're a very creative graphic type of person, then maybe some of the things I need to give less credence to, because what you're seeing is like, okay, as a parent who wants to encourage your artistic side, and this is what you're primarily watching, then that shapes my conversation with you. I know, way too. Now you understand. They might understand you a little bit more. Like, oh, geez, you had all that with your mom. Mm-hmm. Lucky you.
Yeah. Anyways. See, I told you, I gotta stop saying anyways. I've said it like 50 times in this video.
Probably. And I've probably said like or something else. Yes. We do this and you know what? It's okay. We can just embrace our imperfections.
No.
No. And we can always try to do better and evolve.
Mm-hmm. Back to it.
You got yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You did. Look at you.
I almost said anyways again, and I just did. Okay, can you get us back on track?
So we've talked about how social media can sort of be helpful, some of the drawbacks, or I don't even think drawbacks. How social media can help us with connection. We've talked about the creativity, but then we've also talked about some of the cautions, both no matter what ages we are, and then especially if maybe there's some younger children or trying to decide what to let them have access to. So what else do we need to be thinking about, especially coming from you as somebody who really, really likes social media?
I think really, really like social media is a strong liking.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily like it, but it is very much a lot of my job. You know? Like, not just the podcast, but being a digital media specialist, I am constantly on social media, posting things on social media, trying to stay up with the trends. I don't necessarily enjoy it.
Okay, see, and I thought you did. I thought you've always enjoyed social media and
I've grown up.
You have.
I've evolved. I think it's so tedious and time consuming, and honestly, most of the videos are just kind of annoying. And maybe that's just my For You page and that my feed and my algorithm, but I don't know how to change that because it won't change.
Oh, so you're saying that like as you're growing and evolving, your algorithms haven't changed and maybe you would like something else?
No, I think that they have changed a little bit, but it's not, you know, you don't know. You know, like it has changed and evolved, but it's not what I want. I don't find it interesting.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that it is your interest in it has been altered since you've been working in it more?
I think maybe, but I also think it has to do with like, I think what people are posting has also evolved and changed. And I'm not interested anymore.
You're not interested anymore because you know that there's certain things that you like because you're usually using it for entertainment.
Yes.
Distraction.
Yes. Procrastination.
And so some of the things that people are posting is just like, ooh, why?
Yeah, a lot of that. Anyways.
So do you know what you don't like?
No, Angel, I don't know what I don't like. She frequently asks me what I like, what I don't like. And it's like, I don't know. I don't give it that much thought.
Really? Okay, yes. So what I do know I don't like, okay, I never liked what it was at, like the pimple popper, whatever type of stuff. So I hate it when they're, I know you, but sometimes
but that never comes up on my For You page. Never.
Okay.
That comes up on my Snapchat.
Sometimes I get these gross images like on my Facebook store and I'm like, stop it. Don't be on there because it's gross. So
I don't like complaining. I don't like arguments. And that comes up a lot on my For You page.
Really?
Yes.
People arguing.
Yes.
About what?
I don't know. Just random stuff. It's not cookie cutter, Angel.
Okay. Victorya.
I think it's time to wrap this up. What are your takeaways?
My takeaways are that having social media now, I think, gives us so many opportunities to explore different things that we may not have known before, to connect in ways that we wouldn't otherwise get to be able to. And yet there's also a lot of cautions because once it's out there, it's out there. And And so especially I think of it from a mom trying to really promote the mental wellness and overall wellness and how people see their children and how they experience it. That I think we just have to be careful. And also how we consume social media. And for me, I'm going to make it a goal. You can check back with me later. You would not be checking back with me, but I do want to decrease the amount of time I scroll mindlessly.
Solid. I don't have takeaways.
You don't have any takeaways?
I don't think so. I feel like I just gave a lot of my opinions. Basically, I don't have a strong opinion for whether or not you do or do not post your child. I just think that it should be well thought out and be done in an appropriate way.
Would you, as a young woman, would you like if there were some videos of you at 11, 12?
No.
So maybe sometimes people need to think about, not just in the moment, but 10 years from now, what would their child need from them? All right. So that's another episode of Dr. Therapy Mom with Dr. Angel Knoverek and the lovely Victorya Knoverek. Thanks for joining us today. I know you did not like that ending, did you?
No warning, you just switch it up. I like my chaotic endings.
You do?
Yes, and you just made it very structured and did not enjoy that.
Well, now you can end it with this chaotic ending. Bye-bye.